fact running for president in Baltimore City, an event in Federal Hill. And this is coming at a really interesting time, not just for Martin O'Malley, but also for Baltimore as a city experiencing some of the worst violence that it's seen in decades. Amy, what do you make of this moment and how it's shaping up for Martin O'Malley? And where do you see room for him as a Democratic candidate in this presidential primary?
It's a great question, and with uncertain answers at this point. The conventional wisdom right now is that Martin O'Malley didn't really have any choice but to embrace Baltimore, his experience there for 8 years as mayor after the riots and during the riots, because to do so would have sort of acknowledged the liability of that experience. However, embracing it also means that the public and the voters and the media will scrutinize it. And Baltimore is a city that is hurting and that has a lot of struggles, and where some of the measures of economic opportunity and crime and poverty are not on par with what we're seeing in some other cities, including Washington. The murder rate is higher, the poverty rate is higher, and so it's going to be a difficult sell for Governor O'Malley. Baltimore is a difficult sell.
I already know of at least one Baltimore-based group that's planning to protest his presidential announcement tomorrow, a group called the Baltimore Block. Patrick, you report a lot on police accountability issues. People might have heard your recent long-form documentary on the abuse of the assaulting an officer charge. When you look at what is about to happen tomorrow, what's been happening in Baltimore in the context of everything that's happened in the past 2 years in Ferguson, Missouri, on Staten Island, what do you make of the politics that are at work here?
I think what's so interesting is that when O'Malley first announced that he was exploring a bid for the presidency, he was running on his record in Baltimore, that he was tough on crime, that violent crime dropped when he was mayor. And that whole record, it seems, has now just flipped on its head. First, just with what happened in terms of the riots following the death of Freddie Gray. So I think it's very interesting just to see this sea change in how politicians are thinking about their policing and how we go about it. And so I think there's been just a big shift in policy, how politicians are sort of approaching this issue. And it really is, it's interesting to see them go back to their records. And I think even looking back at the Clinton presidency, that's something that Hillary Clinton may have to address too, sort of all the incarceration, all the arrests that took place under the O'Malley administration and during the Clinton White House.
Yeah, I want to read a quick quote here from one of the people at the Baltimore Block Group who is planning on protesting that ceremony tomorrow. It said, Martin O'Malley created a prison system in Maryland. That's his legacy. But we should also point out that it has been a particularly violent week in the district.